What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here. In this training, we're going to talk about how admission officers evaluate your college application. If you are enjoying here, oops, wrong one. If you guys are joining me live right here on Zoom, on Facebook, you should see my screen right now where it should show you the title of the screen. If you guys can help me out, drop a quick yes in the chat if that's what you see. So the screen is correct, so you're not looking at the wrong screen. Just quick little yes in the chat. That would help me out a little bit as well. Awesome. Looks like we have a few yeses coming through. Someone says make it bigger. We will make it bigger as well. So awesome. Today is April 7th. It was our very first time meeting. My name is Coach Tony. I'm actually a former UC Berkeley admissions reader. So a lot of this information come from actual behind the scenes as well. I served as a reader for several years, read over 20,000 applications. Doing so, you start to understand trends, right? Why yes kids get yeses, why no kids get no's. And then I think one of the big things that we teach our families is that a lot of students out there, a lot of families out there, you're trying to do things to look good for college, right? You're doing things to try to stand out in the admissions process. But does that match up with what readers are trained to look for? And I think that's the big disconnect with this. So how our kids have been super successful, if you're part of our UC Facebook group, if not, join it. We had dozens of our families share the incredible news that they got into all these amazing schools there. So if you guys are interested, check those success stories out. But I think why our students do so well, not just at UCs, but also like if you check out our YouTube, but we interviewed a bunch of our Ivy students. We interviewed a bunch of our kids who went to MITs and all these other private schools as well too. The big difference is that we just understand what colleges look for on the back end. So all you need to do, if you think of it as simple, is do what the readers are trained to look for. If you do that, you should be fine. I think what the thing is, people are guessing and picking. I think that's the big disconnect with this process here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just talk and share with you guys again the how they evaluate the application. You guys can understand. You're like, oh, that's why. So especially some of you guys, right? You might have friends and families that like were that they just went through this process. They're like, wait, they're confused why they didn't get in. And breaking this down, you can kind of understand a little bit more of what happened and why the results are the way it is there. Okay. Quick little housekeeping. If you are joining me live in the chat, you can help me out. Drop your grade in the chat so I know kind of what grade people are here, so I can kind of cater the presentation to you all. If we have a lot of juniors, we can talk about junior stuff. You have a lot of younger folks, we talk about younger stuff as well too. If you're on Facebook, feel free to do the same over there too. If you have questions, drop it in the Q&A box. We'll do some Q&A at the very end. And this call is recorded. The notes are available within 48 hours. So if you guys gonna, again, we'll give you guys a little code right here. Text our team, right? Text our team 949-775-0865. They'll go ahead and send you guys the replay and the notes when that's ready as well too. Okay, so a few more announcements really quick. Our college app intensive, for those who have seen this past weekend, we had our very first. So again, people wait till senior year to start the essays. We start way ahead. We start in April, right? So this past weekend, we had over 20 students of ours finish all their drafts, all their UC essays, all their personal statement essays as well too. Done, right? That's right. That's the 350 words each, the 650 words. They were done with their first draft. They sent it in. Our team's going to edit it for them, and we're going to go ahead and send it over to them edited as well. So they'll basically have edited first drafts done literally 6 months before they even submit the very first one. So we like to start early with our students. That's what our college app intensive is designed to do, to help you guys get a head start on this process. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and go to collegeappintensive.com. We have two parts. First part is Kickstart. Second part is the accelerator. With Kickstart, we're all sold out in April. We have a few May, we have a few June left. If you guys want to get started for there. For accelerator, I think half the weekends are sold out. So a lot of the in-person ones are all gone. We have a few in-persons left and a few virtuals left as well too. So you guys gotta definitely take advantage of that before it's sold out. We're not gonna add anymore. We literally took every weekend, so we can't even add any more weekends if we wanted to there. And we also have our newsletter. So in case you guys were interested in every week, we send out a newsletter, help you guys out. It's called admissionsecret.co.com. Co is the thing here. Okay. And again, for any of our new friends, all of our new friends in our ecosystem, you guys get a free coaching session just to kind of make sure you guys are good to go. You can't buy anything on that call. It's not a sales call. It's going to help you guys know where you guys are at is the thing. Okay. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the training so you guys are good to go. So today we're talking about how admission officers evaluate college applications. So again, a lot of this will be from the mentality of a former reader of the how do we do it. And this is exactly what we teach our students to think about when they're approaching their applications process, right? So the very first step, right? The first page, oops, is a big font, right? The first page that the readers see, right, is not the student's info, right? Whoa, it's not the student's info. What is on the first page? The first page is the school's profile, right? So this is a big one, right? So again, the reason why we keep asking families like, hey, where'd you go to school? Hey, what state are you in? Hey, well, give me more context about your area. Is that what readers are trained first, right? Admissions, right, is regional, right? What that means is that they're going to compare you against your local regions. Of course, sure, you'll be compared against the entire pool, right? The entire pool, right? But that's such a big number. That's a big group of people, right? So instead, what's smaller than that, they'll compare you, right? Compared against your states, right? Because then it's a little more fair, right? Less people there, but that's still very big for some areas too. Some areas will go down compared to against your region, right? So think of this as the county. What county are you in? And then it goes even further of compared against your high school, right, as well too. So they are going to compare you against all these different groups of people. But if you can see, it's pretty hard to understand pool. It's hard to understand state. It's hard to understand region. But all of us know where our high school is. We all usually know where our high school stands. So that is why I tell families look into your high school is the most important piece here. Okay, so that's the big one. The readers will do that. Keep in mind, admissions is regional. So that means people who read certain areas, they read exclusively that area. They don't jump around to different areas. They focus on there. Spoilers, the reason why I was where our team is really good at Bay Area, I was a former Bay Area reader. That's kind of why our Bay Area students do really well in the process, right? Is because of that. So that's something to keep in mind, right? The readers have a profile of all the different high schools out there, and they know the thing here is that the amount, we look at the amount of opportunities available to the student. That's kind of what I am looking for specifically on this first page. Hey, how many APs could you take? How many APs are there at your school, right? Because this will help me give me an idea of did you maximize what you could have done, right? Not saying if you didn't do it, you're bad. It just means, hey, your school offered it. Why didn't you do it? It's called, so it may, for me, again, thoughts about this stuff just kind of will pop up in my head if it is a matchup exactly here, right? So the first page they'll see is going to be the student's profile. Next page, right? Second page, right? It's page two. Page number two, right? This one is going to be student information, right? Student information as well. Actually, let's do sections, right? Section two, section one, right? Because some of these are a little longer than the page, right? Section one, right? Section two, he's giving you student information. Specifically, they're gonna know what major, what college you're applying under. They're gonna do grade, no, GPA, rigor, right? That's my word for everything. Rigor. They'll figure out scores if there's scores, right? Scores. That's pretty much it as well too, right? So this is pretty much on the second big section. So the first thing is basic student information there. The major in college, right? This is the part people focus on too much as well too. Keep in mind, a lot of schools admit by college, not major. There are schools that do admit by major. For example, UC Irvine. If you go to UC Irvine, they do admit by major. Santa Barbara, they do admit by major. But all the other UCs, a lot of private schools, they admit by college. College is the school that your major is housed under, right? So for example, if you look up a lot of the colleges out there, right? Out there anywhere, public, private, anywhere. If you look up the math major, like a bio major, history major, sociology major, they're usually all under the same college, which is the College of Letters and Science. That's the broad catch-all college, right? So basically any one of these majors, right, you're going to be viewed with the same exact pool of people there. So again, the more selective the college, the more selective the process is going to be for you. That's why engineering is typically more competitive, because the engineering college is a lot smaller. Same thing with some schools are kind of pulling up like data science or computer science as its own college because it's so competitive. It skews up all the other numbers of the school too. So that's that, right? Next piece, they do talk about GPA. You see it, but how big is it? Not much, right? Not much there, right? This number and that's it, right? It also show the rigor. Hey, how many classes did the student take? How many honors approved courses did you do? I think that's gonna be the big takeaway here. And then some schools, again, so there are schools now in three buckets, right? The first bucket is test required. You have to have scores. They'll see the scores. Second bucket is going to be test optional. Some students have scores, some students don't have scores. And the third one is test blind, where they don't care at all. They don't, you can't even plug it into your app as well too. So that's going to be the big here. So it's basically high level information. Okay. Next one, section number 3 is going to be schools, right, and grades, right? That's like the third big section there. So they're going to ask you, what schools did you go to, right? This is schools like middle school, right? Only for the purpose, right? Purpose of math and language, right? They don't really care what you went to middle school. They just want to know, did you take a math? Did you take a language in middle school? Because if you did, you can share that. Those are the two classes that you can share on your apps, right? But if not, did you go to different high schools as well? What high schools did you go to? Did you graduate from here? Did you maybe transfer to different high school? And also colleges, community colleges in general, right? Well, college, right? Community colleges, four-year colleges as well. This is why, by the way, little spoilers, right? If you've been following us for a while, we advocate a lot for dual enrollment courses. And some of you guys are like, but my counselor says they won't put it on my high school transcript. This is exactly why I tell families, I don't care, right? If they're not going to put on your transcript, that's fine. The colleges will still see it. The colleges will still recognize it as well too. Okay, I think that's going to be the big thing here. Okay, so that's the big purpose in this section right over here. Okay, so that's that. And then, right, and then that's pretty much it here. And then you'll see your grades, right? So when it comes to grades, they'll see your classes, they'll see the honors, and they'll see the grades for each one. So each of these three things are very important, right? So when it comes to the classes, they'll see what classes you take along the way. What am I looking for? There's something called overlays, right? Overlays are certain things that certain majors we're looking for. So for example, let's say you're interested in engineering, right? If you're interested in engineering, the overlay here is going to be very strong math and strong physical science, right? Physical sciences, right? So for example, we tell our students, if you can, this is like the if now, right? If you can, actually, let me do here. If you can, right? Minimum Calc 2, which is like BC, right? Can you go to Calc 3 if you can? Can you do linear algebra if you can? Can you do differential equations if you can? Right? Especially a lot of our Bay Area families. If you're from New Jersey, that's another big pocket of area. They're very competitive regions. So again, going above usually helps you in this area. And also here's the physics, right? Physics, physics. This is the AP Physics series, right? AP Physics as well. Even if the school doesn't offer it, you can actually take it more at the at like an outside school as well too. That's why you can add extra high school, right? Other one is like your high school. Think of it also like online high schools, like UC Scout is an online high school you can add. BYU is BYU high school is an online high school you can add as well too, right? So as that, like this is one example, right? Another example is, let's say you're interested in like biology, right? Anyone here interested in biology? Drop a little yes in the chat, right? The overlay here is going to be a strong-ish math, strong-ish math, right? So Calc 2, right? Some of our students, we've actually said go to Calc 3 in some areas, some pockets, because it's so competitive, right? There. But then you also want biological science, strong biological sciences, right? So this is the bios, the chems, these type of classes is kind of what you want to focus more on. That's the overlay for what the readers are looking for is all right. And every major has a lot more. So you can do that. But those are like high level, right? That's what I look for when I see classes. What about honors, right? So when it comes to honors, right? Honors, I want to see, did you challenge yourself? Did you challenge yourself? Right? The reason why this is important, right, is that college is hard, right? I don't know why we say it, but it's a silly thing, but it's true. College is hard. Because college is hard, right? We want to make sure, right, that if you get accepted, right, they want you to graduate from that school, right? Not everyone does. If you look it up, like there's between 1 and 10% usually at every school gets kicked out, gets dropped out. They don't make it all the way. So when it comes to this perspective, they do want you to finish, right? They do want you to graduate from these schools here. So because of that, right? Because of that, right? They want to know if, like, looking at your profile, right? Do I have confidence that this student will do well at our school? Right? That's the thinking process. If I looked at your profile, do I have confidence that you will do good? How do you build this confidence for the reader? If I see as your grades go up, the rigor goes up, right? Meaning more honors approved courses goes up. That's a win for us here, right? Keep in mind, what does rigor stand for? Rigor is the honors, this is the APs, this is the IBs, the college level courses that you take. However, note, keep in mind, not every honors class at your school counts as honors, right? Counts as honors. Something you can look it up. If you guys Google, right? Google, it's like Google thing, UCOP articulation. This is for California only, by the way. If you're in California, you can do this. If you're not in California, you can't do this. But if you're in California, you can look up your classes and it'll show you which honors counts as honors. But you'll find out also half your honors that your school offers does not count as honors. If you, by the way, if you're, this is more for the UCs. If you're out of state applying to the UCs, any honors for sure will not count. It has to be AP, has to be IB. That's why we tell our students we only think in AP IB college because for sure it counts. If let's say honors does count, it's an extra plus. It's extra things for us, right? Can't complain for the extra things. But again, I like to set the bar low, right? So we can easily beat that as well too. So that's why the rigor is important. Grades, right? What about grades, right? What they're looking for in the grades as you're going through a profile is we want to see strong grades, right? What does strong grades means, right? Strong grades means is I call it the high plateau. High plateau, right? If you guys look at like the desert and the hills along the way, right? It's all high, right? High plateau. Your grades over the years, a lot of A's. Let's say you get a few B's, right? That's fine too. If you look at a lot of our students, they end up with several B's and they still make it to the Ivies. So it's not like the B is gonna hurt them either, right? Of course, if you get the all A's, I'm not gonna say no either. Go for that, but keep your grades as high as they can. The other strong grade trend is an upward trend, right? So your grades go down to go up. I call it the Nike swoosh, right? If you guys if you guys know a Nike swoosh, it goes down and go back up again, right? So say something happened, you go back up. That's another good positive sign for the readers as well. So you want to kind of show that upward trend in the grades, right? And that's the big one. What you don't want, you don't want your grades to stay low plateau, and you don't want your grades to dip over the years either. That's what you don't want to happen. Okay, but again, keep your grades strong, keep the trend going up. That's are all good things here. And that's pretty much what the academics from a reader's point of view we're looking for, right? We're looking for this. Sorry, we're looking for, I'm gonna bold this so I can kind of see it a little easier. Section 2 is the info. Section 3 is going to be the schools and grades, right? So we'll see. Again, are the overlays there that I'm looking for this student? Is the grade strong? Is the rigor there as well? And keep in mind, right? Keep in mind, FYI here as well too. Colleges will see ninth grade grades, right? The colleges will see 12th grade classes, right? People always talk about like, oh, they don't care about that. Like, no, 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 no. We still care. It still cares. We still see your ninth grade grades. We still see your 12th grade classes. That's why your class schedule is so important. 12th grade is when you like keep that rigor high, keep that trend high. Some schools, by the way, spoilers, right? Tips, right? Is that some colleges may ask for 12th grade first semester grades, as well too. So keep that in mind, keep doing well so you can make sure you're good there. Okay, so that's pretty much section number 3, I believe, right? So after section number 3, The next area is section number 4, which is going to be your activities, right? So when it comes to your activities section, right, what are we looking for, right? So I tell students what I'm looking for is I think, thinking in my head, right? Thinking in my head, right? Everyone is so smart now this year. Everyone's so smart this year, right? How is this student different? Right? As well too. So think about this way. I'm like, hey, everyone can have the same grades, right? Everyone can do really well in school. How can I know you're different? Or how is this student taking advantage of their opportunities, right? Because it's one of those things that like humans don't change much, right? Don't change much as well, too. Change much as well, right? Who you are is who you're going to become, right? People who work really hard are people who work very, very hard. People who are lazy are people who are lazy. That's all too. So if I looked at your profile, right, I can kind of tell who you are. Again, imagine you're hiring for a job and I mean, you guys know, think of your friends right now. Think of your friend group, who you hang out with, who you talk to, who you hang on the weekend with. If you owned a company, would you hire your own friends? And then again, you don't have to know them, you just know how they are, right? And knowing how they are, would you hire them? Same thing with admissions. If I'm looking at your profile, would I want you to come to my school? Uh, Given what you're doing, that's why the activities are so important. I would argue this is probably the second most important, right? I would say second most important section that you need to make sure you do. Okay, so this is the big thing here. So when I look at here, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a few things. I want number one, I want to know that you're tasting your major. I'm called A now. A, right, is tasting your major. Right. Again, people say I'm a this major, I'm a that major. Realistically, real talk, right? You don't declare your major until your third year in college, right? So you don't actually declare to your third year in college. So until then, right? Until then, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and just kind of take classes to you take your prerequisites, you take your prerequisites to declare your major, right? That's what you gotta do to eventually get there. But to lead up to there, college want to know, is this the right path for you? Is this something you're interested in doing? So what I'm looking for is, again, yes, there's overlays that you do, but again, people can take the same overlays. So for me, is how can I tell you are X major, right? X major, looking at your activity section, right? And I think that's one of the big ones, right? So if I look at your activity section, let's say you tell me I am a computer science major, and I look at that, I'm like, can I tell, right? Oh, look, you have coding, you have this project you built, you have this hackathon you did, you had boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh yeah. I see it. I see that. This is also why people who pick a different major, Coach Tony, what if we pick a different major and we switch it when we get it? I'm like, then does your app make sense? If I looked at your app and you like, Coach Tony, I'm a history major, right? But I took every math class you can think of. I took every coding class at the college. I did every hackathon. I built the Flappy Bird as well too, right? And all these things. But I want to be a history major though. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. I look at your activities. I cannot pull history from this, right? So I think that's one of the things you want to make sure you do. It has to match up. That's part one, right? Part two, though, B. Part B is going to be things that make you unique, right? Things that make you only you. The big part here is that everyone, again, if you're doing computer science, I bet you have coding. I bet you have hackathons. I bet you have computer clubs at school. Everyone's doing that. What you're doing is not that special, realistically, right? Everything you're doing. Hey, I went to summer program. So did 20, 30 other people. I did this research paper. So did a lot of other kids who wrote it. So the things that you do is, again, not that special, right? But what you want to show also is, not only am I smart, Coach Tony, not only do I show you I'm this major, I also do this, right? So these are things that you do not related to your major. And this is also something you should also have on your app is things that you do that's not related, because that's what sets you apart. This is what makes you different than every single person, right? Is the thing that makes you unique. Oh, Coach Tony, my child loves to dance. Cool, dance, but they're not a dance major. That's fine. Let them dance. Parents, right? You're not going to be a film critic. You still watch movies. That's all too, right? Hey, you might not be the top chef, but you still cook every day. We don't have to do things for a purpose. We do it because we enjoy it. We do it because we like it. We do it because it brings us joy as well too, right? So at the end of the day, that's what makes you apart. And here's a good example to drive this home, right? So to make this make sense, I gotta share a few things about myself, right? Number one, this is Coach Tony, right? Coach Tony, I have a mohawk. You guys can see it. Boom, mohawk right here, right? Number two, I like Pokemon cards. I actually collect all kind of cards. As you see here, I've gone to like wrestling cards. You don't see my screen. I'm collecting wrestling cards now, as well too, right? I like pro wrestling. Another example, the cards, pro wrestling, the old wrestlers. That's to see. I'm going to WrestleMania for those who celebrate. Go to WrestleMania, right? As well too there. I like anime, right? You guys can't see it now, but I have like I've been binge watching Solo Leveling is my next thing, right? So as that. So if I told you guys, okay, parents, right? How many college admissions people do you know? And you're like, man, Coach Tony, I clicked on your face and now I'm hit with every ad from every single person, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I will say that is the same as good grades. Ooh, yeah, see the analogy here, right? How many other kids have good grades? So many. So many people good grades, right? All right. Next thing. What's so special about you? Because I'm from California, right? I'm from California as well, too. All right. So it's smaller. Now it's smaller. So does X major. Ooh, you guys see that? Now that's a smaller group. So if I tell you college admissions in California, there's still a lot of people who can say that. Same thing with students. I have good grades. I'm this major. A lot of people say that too. But what makes it different now is I tell you guys, I'm a college admissions person from California. I have a mohawk. I like Pokemon cards. I like pro wrestling, WWE. I like anime. Who can you compare me to? And it gets crickets, right? Because that's what your child's gonna be. Hey, I have good grades. Hey, I've done these major, but I also play tennis. But I do this. But I do that. You add all these things, and it's not one thing, it's the combination, right? It's the combination of all of it put together, right? That makes the student unique. It's the combination of all of this together that makes you unique is the key. Okay, so I think that's the big thing you want to do. That's what we look for. We look for these things in your app, right? Last section, section number 5, right? Section number 5 is the essays, right? The essay section as well too. Because at this point, right? At this point in this journey, real quick pause. I hit the 30-minute mark. Is this making sense so far? Drop a little yes in the chat. Is this good? You guys enjoying this? Drop a quick yes in the chat. Just kind of engage real fast. Have one, maybe two more sections to go. Yes in the chat if that is. We have 142 people, only 3 comments so far. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad, folks. Kind of sad. You guys either don't like me or you left me on mute as you guys cooking dinner maybe as well. All right. So section number 5, right? Section number 5 here is the essays. When it comes to the essays specifically, right? What are they looking for here? I already know you're smart. Again, assuming the first second, right? I know you're smart. I know you are active in doing stuff. Number 3 is potentially 2 kids could have the same grades and same activities. So what makes them different, right? 2 people could do the same exact stuff. What makes them special, right? As well too, it's them, right? What makes you different or special is you, right? Is the thing. That is the piece here, right? What most people do that's wrong, here's the wrong thing to do, right? Don't spend too much time talking about the what. I see this a lot. This past week, again, we run the largest UC Facebook group right now on Facebook. That's pretty cool, right? So we get a lot of people who are like, oh, no, I don't know why my child didn't get in. They were 4.9 GPA and all this stuff. Again, by the way, do you see me talk about GPA here? No spoilers, not that important, right? But I'm like, show me your essays, because the essays for us is the most important part. So show me your essays. One of the big things I see a lot, boom, this part, right? They spent the whole thing just talking about the story. I did this, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. All things I can see, right? Is number one. Mistake number one. Number two, right? The student tried to write an essay, tried to write, tired, tired to write, tried to write an essay, right? Our first tip to our students, these are not essays. Do not try to write it like an essay. None of the prompts say write an essay. They always say respond, talk about this, share this. So it's almost like a narration. You're talking it out loud. You're not writing an essay specifically on this section, right? So the big thing here is you want to focus more like a narrative versus a narrative is what you want as well too. Narrative is talking out loud. So I tell students, like, if you picked up your thing, right? You picked up your thing that you're doing, and you looked at me and you read it. You read what you wrote out loud. Would I think you're weird? Because some students, they say, um um the mountain was 60,000 foot high. The clouds were above my head. I had to walk up the mountain backwards on my forehead and blah 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 blah. No, that sounds weird if you read that. No, no, no. So what's the answer? You gotta tell me exactly. If I looked at you and I talked to you and I asked you the question out loud, how would you answer the question out loud back to me? That's how you want to write it and phrase it in these prompts here. Okay. And last piece, and those are two big wrong ones, right? So what you want to do, I call it the 30-70 rule, right? 30-70 rule, right? 30% of your prompt should be about the what you did, right? Just enough so I know what's going on, right? So this is the stories that you want to bring up. And then the 70% is the why, the how, and the who, right? All right. Why did you do what you did? How has it made you who you are? Who have you become as a result? Those are the three things I think are the most important things you want to make sure you talk about in these parts. And that's what the reader is trying to learn about you. Because again, really quick, does anyone here, their kids play sports? Drop a quick number one. In the chat, drop a number one if your kid plays sports. All right, drop a number one in the chat if your kid plays sports. The chat's fine. You guys don't have to raise your hands, right? One. There you go. A lot of people's points. Okay. Anyone here? Kids, volunteers, drop a two. Drop a two in the chat if your kid has volunteered in any capacity at all. They've done a volunteering here or there as well too. Awesome, cool. Drop a number three if your kid is a club, any club at school, club online, but clubs, all right? So right away, families, you look at the chat, right? It's going, right? The reason why is what you do, someone just copied you, right? What you just did, someone has the same story as you. That's why this what part is not that important, because everyone's gonna have the same story, right? No matter how special we think we are. I've read 16 years of this. No story is ever that rare that, like, oh my goodness, you're the only one who read it. No, someone else probably does something similar to it, right? So that's the what. That's why it's not the most important. The most important is the why, talking about you as the student. That's the big key when it comes to here, right? The other thing that I'm looking for, as I'm reading through these prompts, did you answer the question? Right? Some people don't do this. It's silly, but I'm looking for the answer. What's the answer to your question that you're going to answer? And then the big one, what am I learning about you? Right? Is the key. Right? I'm gonna throw in a pro tip here as well too. Pro tip, right? Anyone here applying to a private school or a state school, not the UCs? Drop a yes in the chat. If you're applying to like a private school, like an Ivy, top 25, state school that's not the UCs, as well too. A lot of yeses, right? There you go. A lot of yeses, right? So you are using the common application, right? You're using the common application to apply. For the common application, there's one app with a lot of lot of schools. I think over 1,000 schools use them. So you have the common app with a supplement for each of the schools. The supplement has additional questions that they'll ask you. One of the most common supplement questions they have, right? Why do you want to come to our school? Right? That's one of the more frequent questions that they're going to ask you on here is why do you want to come or why are you going to go here, right? This is, and by the way, this is something we learned recently at the training we went to this past week. We're part of a bunch of college organizations to kind of learn a bunch of stuff, right? This is one of the things that we learned this year is that slowly schools are going straight to this question first. Because if you can't answer this question, why read the rest of the app, right? It's not going to be good anyways, right? Because most students will say silly things. They'll say, you are the best at X. They know that. They know that they're the best at X. You have the best weather. They know that too, right? You X name went there. They know that, right? As well, it wasn't silly ones. Like these ones, these things that tell me that you have so many awards here, right? Cool. They know that. These colleges know they're awesome. You don't need to tell them. The question is not why does our school the best? The question is why do you want to come to our school? And this is the issue that I think a lot of students don't have a good answer to. They can't answer this question of like, why do you want to go there? I call it the little tip here. We call it the 7 clicks deep. 7 clicks deep. What does 7 clicks deep mean? It means to find an answer. If you say, oh man, I want to go to Berkeley because you guys are the #1 public university in the world. You just Google Berkeley. That's the first thing they see, right? Boom. That isn't hard to find, right? But if you have to click, 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 click to figure out something like, wow, that's a good reason, right? It's a very deep, nuanced answer to go there. I mean, that's awesome. You found the school's a good fit for you. Because again, every school is different. Not every school is the same. That's why there's so many. There's over 1,000 colleges. If they're all the same, then there'll be only one big one, right? As well too. But there's a lot of them, over 1,000, right? So understand why you're going to each one. And this one you have to personalize. So whenever we're adding essays for students, and then I see the first prompt being like, your school is so amazing, or like X, right? I want to go to X because you have the best program for engineering. Your X lab is the best. You have the best teachers like X, Y, and Z, right? So let's plug it in, right? You see here, I want to go to Harvard because your H lab is the best, like Professor A, Professor B, and Professor C as well too. And this is how I know it's bad. Is if you need to do is change one word. I want to go to Yale. Wait, that makes sense. That still makes sense. Just change the lab, change this, change this. I want to go to MIT. Wait, that still works too. So how you know that the thing is bad is you just got to change pieces of it and it works. For this question, this is bad. Don't do that. Here, I'm put it in red. Oops. Put it in red, right? Red, because red means don't do. Boom, don't do. The reason why is it has to be unique to every single school. If you can't make it unique to every single school, I always ask you why you're applying that. If you don't know why you're applying, you're applying just for the sake of applying, that's kind of a waste of $80 and a waste of time. You can spend a lot of hours on it as well too, right? So make sure you understand why you're applying to each school. This is why your research is very important. Why is it a good fit? And could you see yourself going there, right? Don't apply to schools that you don't care about going to. That's kind of a waste of time, right? So go where you think you want to go is the key here. Okay? So that's the thing here. One final like sneak tip I'll give you guys before we bump to Q&A. Section number 6, right? Letters of rec. Letters of rec. You guys want me to go over letters of rec or go over questions? What do you guys want to see first? Letters of rec or questions in the chat? Letters of rec, questions, Q&A. Or we could end it. If you guys are happy, we can just end it right now. We can end it and we're done. All right. Oh, we got a little mix. We got a little mix as well too. We got a little mix. Okay, so for sure no one wants to end early. All right, let's talk about Lazarek, right? So Lazarek, keep in mind, not every school offers this. Some schools do, right? So pro tip, you're gonna ask her, you want to waive your right. Waive your rights. The word is always really weird, but then you basically, yes, the answer is yes, you want to waive your rights, meaning you do not want to read what the recommender says. It's always a big like, red flag if like a student wants to read what the person wrote is all. So again, definitely want to waive your right is the big key number 1, right? Next thing, when it comes to les of rec, most les of rec suck. The reason why they suck is not because it's not bad, right? Again, 99% of these les of recs, right, say very nice things about the student. Right? Keep that in mind, right? They always say nice things. To be fair, I've read one. I used to be a scholarship editor, like a reader for like the really big scholarship. It was a full ride scholarship. So I read it, and I can usually people say nice things. I read one app where the recommender says, "No, I do not recommend this student." I'm like, holy moly, that's wild, right? So that's that. Going back to here, right? They always say nice things. However, that's not right what a reader is looking for. We don't care about the nice things, right? What we're looking for, right? Readers are looking for new information. We're looking for new information. By the way, for any of our senior friends who are like, by the way, if you guys are interested, I could delaying it, but I want to do a training on waitlist, on appeals, and how those work as well too. But the big thing for all these, right? Waitlist, appeals, and Lazarek, it needs to do new information because what they already know, they already know. They don't need to do anything new. They don't need to like validate it. We trust you. On your app, you sign a form that says everything on this app is accurate, it's true. So why do I need to look at it anymore, right? So that's the thing here. So they're looking for new information. So when you're asking your recommenders, you want them to say something different, right? You want them to share something different, not already on the application. So the best pro tip is now to enter the pro tip stage. Is this pro tip ready? Is this pro tip ready? No, pro tip. Pro tip, right? Give the recommender your app. Let them know not to repeat anything, right? And tell them what to do, what to write. That's the trick. People are like, wait. They're supposed to write it. I'm like, yeah, they need help. You help them write it as well too. They're gonna copy you, right? You tell them, hey, Mr. So and so, Mrs. So and so, can you? I love to use a recommender. Can you help me add this part? I didn't get a chance to talk about it in our applications as well too. Spoilers, you're helping them. They usually, you know how many the teachers that write letters of recs, the people who write letters of recs, they write so many. I actually stopped. I used to do it a lot. I had a perfect streak. I think every one of my students all got into med school. It was like a lot of med school apps, right? I have a perfect streak. I would no longer write one because the streak is gonna stay perfect there as well, too, right? But the idea is, right, it needs to add new information to the reader. You can't just say the same thing because the reader already knows that. It's also tell them what to write. So if you have multiple readers, a writer, letter of recs, guess what you do? Letter of rec 1, can you talk about story A? Letter of rec 2, can you talk about story B? Letter of rec 3, can you talk about story C? They're all saying different things. Even within them, they're gonna say different things. That's the trick of these letters of recs, is you want to tell them exactly what to write. You make their life a lot easier because they don't have to think as hard, right? They're going to help you make the best one to help you out the best you can as well. Okay. That being said, thank you everyone for, we'll dive into some Q&A real fast, but before we do, a few little updates for everyone. Number one, again, if you guys are interested in the notes, the replays, text our team 949-775-0865 for any of our 2026 families who are interested in joining our weekend workshop. You guys can definitely just text intensive or workshop to our team. They'll set you up on that as well too. Our newsletter goes out tomorrow morning. If you guys haven't signed up for it, definitely join that. We send scholarships in there for you guys, so you guys can get some information there as well too. And you guys are interested in that coaching session, you guys can do that there. Okay. A few questions I see in the chat, in the Q&A box. First one here. Q&A, right? First one, is a big disadvantage to not have dual enrollment for upper UCs apps, blah blah. That no, right? So the quick answer is no, but right, we want to demonstrate rigor, right? Takes 4 APs. Is 4 enough? Is the question I would ask as well too. How you want to know the number? There's no set number. It's relative to your school. So what's the, if you're aiming for top UCs, what's the top student taking in your school? If they're taking a lot, we want to take a lot as well too, right? Plenty right? Plenty of extracurriculars. What does that mean? I don't know what plenty is as well too. Plenty is a lot. Typically, our students have between 20 and 30 hours of activities, right? So if you have that, you pretty safe-ish as well too. So the big things would be the essays after that too. If you guys are interested, again, book a free text the word coach to 71949 994-774-0865. And we actually, again, for every new family, we do a free coaching call for you guys to help you guys get you on track is all. And if you're interested in working together, we can talk about that too. But we just want to help point you guys in the right direction at the very least. And then we can talk about programs afterwards. Okay. So as that. Next question here. I'm assuming this question is about the extracurriculars, right? Oops, wrong question. Uh, should oops, nope, can I not copy? There you go. Should they both be from teachers or can it be a coach? This is, I think, layers of Rex, right? This is layers of Rex as well. So when it comes from layers of recommendations, the answer is it can be from anyone unless, right? I'm doing that wrong. Unless they state it on your app. So some schools will be like, we want it from a math teacher, we want it from a science teacher. Then you got to get it from those teachers. But if they don't give you any like specific people, then it's up to you what you want to do with that. Is all. Okay. Um, let's see what else. Dun, dun, dun. Copy thing's not working. All right, there you go. Question: if your kid is thinking of majoring in art animations, building a portfolio through high school recommended, will these schools accept these supplements with this application? It depends on the major, right? So it depends on the major. So basically, some schools, some majors, you'll see some artsy majors, animation, art, they may request it. Dance, music. There might be an audition requirement to it as well, too. So basically, how it works is you're applying academically, right? Academic first, and you're doing an audition, AAA, right? You're applying and you're doing the audition as well to do not academics, right? Audition as well too. So there's two parts to the your application admissions. There's a applying part you apply normally. Then there's also an audition part as well too, where you have to audition to get in. So if you know, you can start now, right? Start looking at the schools, see what type of major these majors fall under. Are they audition requirements? Are they not? Because some of them are not, right? Then you have to do it all. But if it is, you can start putting together a portfolio to help save you some time later on when you're a senior as well to start collecting them, start sharing them, and then again do what the colleges ask you to do once you guys get there. Okay, perfect. I think that is it. Fantastic. So if that's all the things, again, one more time for those who are interested, if you guys want the replay of this call, you guys want the notes, go ahead and text our team 949-775-0865. The word replay, they'll give you the replay. Notes, they'll give you my notes for the call as well too. For our incoming seniors, right? Either you guys join us at one of the workshops or just stick around and get FOMO, do our pictures as well too. We'll be doing more and more of them. We do, by the way, spoilers, we have an in-person Kickstart on May 31st. That's gonna be super, super. It was our first ever May Kickstart in person. So we're super, super excited for that. I'll be leading that one. So if you guys are coming to that one, I'll see you guys there. It'll be in San Jose, California. And then if you guys haven't claimed your free coaching call yet, text the word coach to the same number 949-775-0865 there. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Hope you guys have a great rest. Actually, I lied really quick before we head off today. This week we have some awesome trainings that you guys can join if you guys are interested. So basically we have some private trainings to show you guys also. So let me walk through those real fast. So if you guys are interested, tomorrow, Tuesday, right? Tuesday, April 8th, Coach Art is going to do a training on a walkthrough of the UC application. That'll be at 6 p.m. Tomorrow. Before that, right? Anyone here interested in research? Drop a yes in the chat. Anyone here interested in high school research? Drop a yes in the chat. Tomorrow, I am doing a collab with Lumiere, how to conduct research in high school. That'll be at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock tomorrow. If you guys want to join that call on Wednesday, April 9th, we have Coach David is doing a training on additional forms with financial aid. So those of you who are doing financial aid, there's some forms you'll fill out. Coach David's going to do a breakdown of that for you guys. And on Thursday, how to demonstrate leadership in your apps, right? As well too. So you guys are interested in that. So Thursday is gonna be at Thursday, April 10th. It's gonna be at 6 p.m. at 6 p.m. And this one's gonna be at 5 p.m. So if you guys need the links to them, text our number as well too. And then again, 949-775-0865. Our team will send you the special Zoom link. These are all private calls though. So you guys can join those if you guys are interested there. Okay. That being said, that is officially it for me on this session. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments, slide in my DMs, text our team. If not, I'll see you guys on the next training. Bye, everyone.